SPLICE. It got me thinking, sometimes I don't understand the audience's preferences, and, well, I kind of like her. Malay is actually pretty chill, plus, last round she, really stood up for me. His grin faded, eyes slowly dropping again. For you to turn around and protect them, even those who hurt you. That's not nothing. It's okay. Cole just nodded softly, squeezing her fist over the glass before holding it out to John. It's okay. I know. Drink. During Endgame, I'm going to accidentally hurt the main Ponder puppet as well, the one that usually runs the show. If it doesn't bleed, John, that means the real Ponder, the original, is either one of our puppets or one of us. Sarah scrambled, apologizing before inadvertently catching one of Ponder's legs beneath her foot. Metal littered the floor. Lights danced across the floor, a massive spotlight erupting behind Ponder. The creature tried unsuccessfully to make a rabbit shadow puppet with its fingerless paws before turning to the camera and grinning. "Oh hey! Didn't see you there." Its teeth glinted as it raised up on the podium. "Welcome to Endgame." The contestants all stood in a staggered line down below, staring more or less straight ahead. "With 2 immune this round," Ponder nodded softly as the camera spun around. "Pickings were slim. John, Dorgai, Malay, or Callie. Talk about tough choices. Time to see who got the boot." Sarah and Cold stood separated from the rest, becoming silhouetted as a towering screen split into view behind them. The contestants' names listed in vertical order. Ava, Halogen, and Sketch were already crossed out, red text reading, "Eliminated." Getting right into it, Ponder slowly lifted up a large button, tossing it between its paws several times. "Let's see this week's audience favorite." It pressed down, a slider slowly building up beside Callie's name. "Nice!" Ponder nodded. "The murderous weapon of mass destruction from a story that will never ever continue. Callie Ames from CD13, with just 10% of elimination votes." Callie stood silently, hand still clutched to her head as if feeling the effects of some supernatural hangover. Distortions wavered around her. Dorgai, Malay, and John's names glitched further red, flashing. "The rest of you," Ponder folded its arms, "clearly picked the wrong religion, that or your god's a dick. Welcome to the SPLICE zone, patent pending." Dorgai had started to sweat, eyes nervously flashing to Malay. John's name was next to fill up, stopping at 16%. "Johnny boy." Ponder put its paws on its hips. "Good to see you've slipped down a few notches. Small victories." Malay and Dorgai's names began to further distort. The remaining spotlights swiveled to single them out. "Hey," Dorgai quickly whispered to Malay, smirking. "It's alright, it's gonna be me, and I can't wait to see the look on Ponder's face when he reads my real name as Seymour Wiener." Literally so worth my dimension's existence. Malay didn't respond, head bowed in silence. "Two left." Ponder pressed its paws together. Dorgai and Malay reunited again. What a drama-filled moment of tension. I already know who it is, but I'm just gonna say for the record, I hope it's Dorgai. Ponder grinned widely, slapping the button twice. Both Dorgai and Malay's names shot up. Dorgai at 18%. Malay 56%. Dorgai's spotlight shut off. Malaya's name frazzled red static, large text appeared beside it. Eliminated. Against my wishes, Ponder frowned. It would appear Dorgai had quite a few vocal supporters. Who knew rocks could vote? Wait, Dorgai staggered. Too bad. Ponder's mouth rapidly split back into a smile as more spotlights trained on Malaya. But you can't win 'em all, right, Malaya? Top 3 to vote it off, oh how they fall. Wanna give us your thoughts on the matter? Last word edition? Hold up, Dorgai shook his head. Wait, Malaya, don't— I'm surprised I made it this far. Malaya spoke softly, staring at the floor before finally flicking her eyes up to the contestants. John, I'm so sorry. Sorry for forcing you into this game. Callie, I'm sorry I'm no good at beer pong. Dorgai, I'm sorry I'm not the person you think I am. You might like me for who I am in your head, but you wouldn't like me. I'm glad you won't be disappointed now. Dorgai stared, mouth open. Let's just get it over with. Malaya slowly stepped out of line toward Ponder. It doesn't matter anymore. Something tells me it might matter to 7 billion people. Ponder tilted its head with a grin. Nice try with the stoic stuff, but no one's buying it. Malaya's dimension frazzled into view behind Ponder, an aerial view of the Philippines. Turquoise water softly lapped at jagged beaches, a storm brewing somewhere in the distance. Do it. Malaya bowed her head, code beginning to distort around her. See if I care. See if any of them care. You've broken us, Ponder. There's nothing else you can do. Oh, really? Ponder's mouth curled as if held up by meat hooks. Malaya's given up, guys. Big shocker. That easy, huh? Yes. Malaya stared at the floor, eyes lapsing into an apathetic fixed stare. I suppose so. John caught Dorgai's gaze from across the room, desperation flashing through soulless white eyes. Been mentally preparing for this, huh? Ponder just giggled. How long has your goal switched from winning to simply holding it together when your elimination came? What kind of sad sack figures the best they can do is lose? Was I wrong? Malaya responded numbly. Touché. Ponder picked at its teeth, flicking something off into the distance. Good to know you think there's some kind of honor in being apathetic in the face of this. 7 billion people on your planet place their hopes in you, and the very best you can give them in their final moments is to say they're already broken? Malaya flickered, eyes dropping. I didn't break them. Ponder shrugged, dialing up a switch to turn the spotlight's blood red. Just you. Don't pretend everyone gives up as easily as you, Malaya. The entire image frayed, Malaya's form shuddering like a bad TV signal. Any last real words? Ponder pulled up a control panel. I tag your files with the Ponder AI virus and it's bye-bye. I feel as if being a poltergeist has made you forget how permanent death is. Spoiler, extremely permanent. I'm sorry. Malaya just repeated to her feet. Thought as much. Ponder giggled. That's fair, but not very fun. Which is why we're about to play a little game. The rabbit's mouth split into a toothy grin, a single large timer glitching into view overhead Malaya. Quirky jazz music began blasting, a banner dropping from the ceiling to reveal Malaya's elimination fiasco in bright turquoise text. A cartoony graphic of her being electrocuted was drawn below. Confetti exploded from air cannons on every side. Thankfully, Interdimensional Party City is open late. Ponder took a breath before grinning. And yes, this game will be extremely painful. Physical beings have a pain threshold. Brains can only compute so many screaming nerves at once. You, however, Malay, well, not so lucky. 2 minutes on the timer. Malay rigidified, image flickering. Yo, Ponder, hasn't she had enough? Door guy hissed, fist clenching. Come on, buddy. People hated Sketch. Malay just got the short end of the stick. Timer runs down regardless. Ponder cut him off by dialing up the music, gesturing to a large number that ruptured into view above the timer. The pain exponent, however, is up to you, Malay. Get it from 14 to 0 and you die a painless death. Unfortunately, the only way to lower the number will be for you. I'm sorry. Malay raised her hand, cutting off the music with a spark of blue electricity. Her dark, eyeless void stared below her. Not for what I've done. Sorry, you won't get anything from me. Not this time, Ponder. Ponder stopped in shock, staring in confusion at its control board. Its head cocked curiously, slapping at the buttons without effect. The spotlights glitched to a dull turquoise. Malay's head slowly cracked sideways as her turquoise diodes flashed back into view, staring directly at Ponder. Her other hand slowly raised up beside her, fingers in the shape of a gun. Her puppet was gone. Ponder's smile dropped. Dorguy's words stopped in his throat. Fuck off. Malaya hissed, placing her fingers against her own temple. Her thumb slammed down, projector cracking with a violent explosion to knock the other contestants off their feet. The machine shattered into countless pieces with a blinding blue flash. Cold, stagnant air rushed from the void, turquoise steam billowing to the floor where it seemed to gasp for air, before turning a sickly black. Electricity continued to spark intermittently, the room finally ceasing to shake. The turquoise spotlights glitched back to a sterile white hue. All was silent for some time. Ponder paused in disbelief. She... John gawked, staring at the carnage. Holy heck! Ponder rubbed its head to catch its breath before laughing and holding up the SPLICE detonation button. Ghost suicide! Now I've seen it all! Who would have thought she could remove her puppet this whole time? Voters did me a solid this round. Who knows what she was planning to do with that information had I not forced her hand? Might have been devastating for me. Might have been several chapters and a conclusion written about it. Thankfully, you're all fucking morons. John gritted its teeth, only to be thrown off his balance as Sarah suddenly stepped forward. Her eyes were narrowed to silver sickles, skepticism written across her face. Ponder, she spoke, eyes flashing to the smoldering projector before she gestured to the cameras. Hold up, I don't think you realize the scope of this. Come again? Ponder stopped, shocked at her boldness. Scrub the system. Sarah's eyes just narrowed further. Something isn't right. Double check Vessel 748. And you watch your company, Sarah Duffy. Ponder quickly hissed, leaning forward menacingly as several cameras trained on her. Wanna run that by me? One more time? Sarah clenched her fists. As a matter of fact, Ponder twisted its head sideways. As far as stepping out of line, you're on a bit of a record-breaking streak this week, aren't you, Sarah? Its claws twitched as if genuinely aggravated for the first time. Its usually snide smile was curled into a frown. Hate to distract from Malaya's death. It rose up on the podium, Sarah's own puppet beginning to spark with violent electricity. But I've been meaning to air this out anyway. Would my two favorite contestants please step forward? Sarah's eyes flashed behind herself just as Ponder turned as well. John paled, both figures staring directly at him. That's right, Ponder's sneer quickly reinstated as John slowly stepped forward. I can, in fact, read. It seems you two were having secret discussions behind my back about naughty things involving me as a contestant. Thankfully, the YouTube comments section of last week's episode sold you out. Cold's gaze flashed between the two of them, dark eyes lingering eerily long. Ponder, Sarah's steely expression gave away nothing. Whatever information you got from the comments was likely distorted. I am more than happy to answer any questions you might have. You're so cute. Ponder simply waved its hand. Sarah's puppet split with energy, spotlights flickering as her contorted body slammed to the floor with a ghastly puff of foul smoke. The other contestants all staggered back, horror written across their faces. John's eyes split wide, hands splaying out before Ponder cut out all light in the room. Now let's get one thing straight. The rabbit's voice slithered through the air, countless puppet mouths lighting up in the darkness. There is nothing going on that I do not know about. I write the story. You think I can't read it too? The contestants' rabbits all began to spark, tendrils of electricity arcing into the icy air. So why don't we leave side plots aside and focus on the game, huh? Ponder grinned. The puppets began to distort, the grating buzzing of increasing voltage becoming near deafening. Bridges of electricity began to connect to the ground around the contestants before Ponder finally waved its hand, flipping a switch to re-illuminate the room. The electricity cut out, puppets falling limp. Sarah had struggled back to her feet, though barely standing. Her chest rose and fell raggedly, wincing eyes still blinking away electricity. The minute any single one of you becomes a genuine threat, Ponder picked at its teeth, unconcerned. Rest assured you'll be eliminated before the round begins. If you don't want this story to end at part 5, I suggest we all play the game like adults. Is there a Ponder amongst you? Isn't the better question, why would that matter? It smiled to the camera, cutting off the music and leaning in close. Let's all just play the game, shall we? The light swiveled to focus back on the podium, Ponder stepping back and smirking. Funny you should even be the one to bring it up, huh, Sarah? It giggled as she glared with disdain. Is this supposed to be a publicity stunt? I'll go ahead and pose a question of my own for the group to stir things up. How many seasons has PuppetGAME been running? Sarah gritted her teeth, death-gray eyes fixed on Ponder. A barely 3-second stare-down ensued, something that felt dragged over hours before Sarah slowly stepped back into line beside John. Her white-knuckle grip shook at her side. Ponder mirrored this tension briefly before quickly snapping upright, shrugging to the cameras. Drama, 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 it giggled. Regardless, after that spectacular spiritual suicide ruining my punishment, there's only one thing left to do. I can run this show just fine by myself, thank you very much. Slices for everyone. Door guy remained seated, eye twitching before he slowly lowered his head. Say goodbye to CHDIS1, Ponder proclaimed, smashing the button against the podium. Blinding light frayed the screen behind him, the camera slowly refocusing to watch Malaye's blistering planet. We've already wasted a lot of time. Ponder clapped its hands like an excited camp counselor. So let's speed the rest of this up. Teams this week. Callie, our favorite WMD. Meet everyone's favorite psychotic piece of broken brain. Cold. Cold looked paler than usual, if that was possible, stringy black hair matted and frayed. Her dark, sunken eyes looked overridden by panic, eyes jittering between John and the various contestants as if weaving red conspiracy string in her mind. Her index finger twitched on the blade of her knife, breathing both ragged and unnervingly shallow. With a snap of Ponder's pincers, both her and Callie shattered from view, leaving nothing but frigid air in their place. "My conspirators are next," Ponder chuckled. "Seeing as how you do it on your own anyway, let's see how you two do as a pair. Sarah and John, I don't care what you say, what you conspire about behind my back. Just don't be dumb enough to think I can't hear you. And certainly don't think it will change anything. Best of luck to you both." They imploded from view. The space slowly descended into silence, Ponder finally dropping his gaze to the lone contestant in the room. Dorgai looked at the far wall, large reflective eyes unblinking. "You know, Dorgai." Ponder softly hopped down from the podium, tone much softer. "I debated killing you off this week along with Malaya since you had the second most votes and gave us an uneven number. That's usually how it goes." Dorgai slowly sat down on the dirty metallic floor. "Got a fun twist in mind, eh?" He spoke dryly. "I promise it's not as cool as you think it is." "Well, aren't you peppy for someone whose life I've just spared?" Ponder slapped its paws together, stopping in front of Dorgai. "This isn't a deal. I've made up my mind, and no exchange on your end will change anything. That being said, I wouldn't mind it if you were to do one thing for me in return for all this." Dorgai's bulbous eyes scanned Ponder slowly. "What can I do for ya?" He finally just leaned back, adjusting his hat. "I'm afraid I don't have a soul to give." "Nothing that serious." Ponder's smile said just the opposite as it slowly edged ever closer. "I know you're not as dumb as you lead on, Dorgai. Your secret is safe with me." Dorgai's eyes narrowed, skin bristling. "Compliment accepted." He finally shrugged. "People waited like months for this episode. Is this gonna go anywhere?" "Vessel 748. Ponder sharpened two pincers against each other wistfully, as if twiddling its thumbs. "I get the feeling you know her plan inside and out. Can I trust you to do what's necessary before I splice you in?" Dorgai's fake smile staled. "Oh, cool," he sneered. "Can't wait to help out my buddy Ponder, the douche rabbit that enslaved me and threatened my existence." "Said it was optional." Ponder shrugged. "Just figured you might enjoy it. I'm also a fan of playful banter." It raised a pincer. "So when I say optional, you get my drift, right?" It cocked its head. "Saying things directly isn't cool or sci-fi." Dorgai grudgingly stood up with an eye roll, dusting himself off. "Not because you told me to." He put his hands in his pockets before pausing. "A life for a life works for me, but I want one more thing in return." "I will not rename Splices Dorgais," Ponder frowned, "if you're gonna try that one again." "Then what's the point?" Dorgai threw out his hands, grumpily slouching. "How about Door Ponders? I'll give you a little slice of the pie. Come on, we can both win this." "Good luck." Ponder just waved. 10 minutes until you splice in. Make it snappy." "Fine." Dorgai tilted his hat down, zipping up his hoodie. "It's a deal." Both disappeared from view. Rough with